All right, so today we're going to learn about volume, okay? Your objective is after this lesson, I and your name here. I'm going to write my name. We'll be able to find the volume of a cylinder and rectangular prism, okay? So that's what we're doing today, finding the volume of a cylinder and rectangular prism. Now, volume, when we find volume works with 3D shapes, okay? And unlike, just like area, right? Area is the space inside your shape. Okay, so is volume, but it's with 3D objects. So the volume of any shape is the amount of space inside of a 3D object. So how much can it hold? Okay, now the space that we're measuring is cubic units. Okay, cubic units. And so when we do area, we have our units in square units. When we have volume, we measure in cubic units. So that's going to be like centimeters cubed. Okay, so now our formula. So the volume formula is V equals big B times H. That may look a little familiar from another formula we know, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So V represents, well, what are we talking about in this? Volume. Okay. Now, big B this B times H kind of reminds us of the area formula for a rectangle, and that's little b times H, where little b stands for base, okay? But big B is a little different. Big B represents the total area of the base. And then H still represents height, like it does in the area formula. Okay, now we're going to do some examples down here. If you have a highlighter or some sort of crayon or colored pencil, it might help to label these. So we're going to highlight the base of each prism in one color. I'm going to do purple. Okay, and then highlight the height in a different color, and I'm going to choose blue. Okay, now to find the base on a rectangular prism, since all of them are rectangles, sometimes it's shaded, but if it doesn't have one, then you can just pick a side, okay, for your base. But this side's highlighted, so let's highlight it in our color, or you can write inside of that rectangle base, something like that. Okay, the height is going to always be perpendicular, which means not going the exact same way. So since our rectangle goes this way, our height is going to go the opposite way. So this is going to be our height right here. Okay. Now let's get to our work here. So we have our volume equals big B times H. Now remember, big B stands for the total area of the base. So we got to find the area of this rectangle here. Now to find the area of a rectangle, right, we talked about it up here, base times height. We're going to use something else because I know that these are going to get confusing if we continue to use these. So we're going to use length times width. I know you guys have heard that before. And then again, we still have to multiply it by height. So the big B, what went in for that was length times width. Okay, so let me highlight that so we can make sure we get that. So the big B, or the area of the base, is represented by length times width. The height is still the height, doesn't change. Okay, now the length of this figure, remember we have this rectangle. We know that the top and the bottom is 3, right? Because any rectangle has the same parallel sides. This side and this side though, right? This side is part of this rectangle as well, and it's the same as this side. So this side's going to be 8. So our volume here, we have length, which I'm going to do 8 for my length, times the width. I'm going to do 3 for my width, and then multiply my height, which is 6. Now we got to multiply these all together. So, got my calculator here. 8 times 3 times 6 equals 144. And don't forget my units, feet. And then since we're talking about volume, it needs to be in our cubic units. So 3, a little 3 up there. Okay, let's do another one of these and then we'll move on to cylinders. Okay, so we have our volume equals big B times H. V, our big B stands for length times width times our height. Okay, now remember our base on these is our shaded area. Unless you don't have one, you can pick which side you want to be your base. Okay, so this shaded area up here is the base. It's represented by the big B and the length times width. And then our height, K, is going to be perpendicular to that. Remember, perpendicular goes the opposite direction, so since this is going this way, our height this time will be the opposite of that. Or not the opposite, but perpendicular to it. Okay, and that's represented by the H. All right, so we have volume equals length times width. We got our length, 15. Our width is 7. Times the height, which is 4. The highlighting will also help with later, so if you come back to your notes because you forget how to do something, then you'll be like, oh, we got that from 15 and 7. We got this because that was the height of 4, okay? So I hope you remember. All right, let's put this in the calculator now. We have 15 times 7 times 4 equals 420. So our volume is 420. And then don't forget your units, yards cubed. All right, so cylinders are the exact same way, okay? We're gonna start off the same. V equals big B times H. Okay, now the base for this, okay, is our circle. So when we have a cylinder, our base is always the circle. okay? Always the circle. Now, we got to figure out what the area of a circle is, and this was on our notes from last time. This is pi times radius squared times h. Now the height, that's going to be what's perpendicular to it, which is 5. Okay, so we have volume equals pi times the radius. Now the radius, we were given the diameter. To find the radius is half of the diameter. So half of 6 is 3. So we have 3 squared times our height, which is 5. Okay, and I'll highlight while you guys are getting that down. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what 3 squared is. We have pi times, remember squared is 3 times 3, so 3 times 3 is 9. And then I'm gonna put all this in my calculator. Okay, I got pi, I haven't found the pi button on this calculator, 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna have to hit the shift button, or the mode button, shift, pi, okay, times 9 times 5. Okay, and I'm going to round it to the nearest tenths place. So I got to look at the number after the first digit, after the decimal point, and anything 5 and above is going to round this number up 1, and then 4 and below is going to make it stay the same. So this is going to be 141 point, the 7 is going to make this go up to a 4. And that's yards cubed. And we're done with that one. All right, going on to this next one. Okay, the base is always the circle on cylinders. Always circles. The height is always perpendicular to it, so going the opposite direction, so it's 11 on this one. All right, so we got V is equal to big B times H. Remember, big B stands for the area of the base. The area of a circle is pi times radius squared times H. Do my highlighting here before we get started. Okay, so this time, volume, we have pi times the radius. Now, it gave us the diameter again, and the radius is half of the diameter. So half of 10 is 5 times the height, which is 11. Okay, 5 squared, remember the squared represents multiplying the number times itself twice. 5 times 5 is 25 times 11